Let's examine the quadratic equation x squared minus 4x plus 8 equals 0. This equation will have complex solutions, which we'll discover as we work through it. To solve this equation systematically, we need to identify its components. First, let's recall the standard form of a quadratic equation, ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, where a, b, and c are constants. By comparing our specific equation to the standard form, we can identify each coefficient, which will be crucial for applying the quadratic formula later. In our equation, the coefficient of x squared is 1 because the term is simply written as x squared with no number in front. When no coefficient is written, it's understood to be 1. The coefficient of x is -4. The negative sign indicates that this term is being subtracted, which will affect how we use the quadratic formula. And the constant term is positive 8. This is our c value, which appears without any variable attached to it. Let's identify these coefficients explicitly so we can use them to solve our equation. The coefficient a equals 1. In many quadratic equations, a is often 1, which simplifies our calculations, but the formula works for any non-zero value of a. The coefficient b equals -4. The sign of b will be important when we apply the quadratic formula, as it will affect the direction of our complex solutions. And the constant c equals 8. The fact that c is positive and relatively large compared to b squared will lead us to complex solutions, as we'll see when we calculate the discriminant. With these coefficients identified, we're ready to apply the quadratic formula. Since b squared, which is 16, will be less than 4 times a times c, which is 32, we expect to find that this particular equation has complex solutions rather than real ones. Having identified the coefficients a equals 1, b equals -4, and c equals 8, we're ready to solve this quadratic equation and explore its complex solutions in the complex number plane. Let's explore how to solve quadratic equations using the quadratic formula, which gives us a direct way to find solutions without factoring. This is the standard form of a quadratic equation, where a, b, and c are constants with a not equal to 0. To solve for the values of x that satisfy this equation, we use the quadratic formula. This formula gives us the solution for x in terms of the coefficients a, b, and c. The plus-minus symbol indicates that we'll typically get two different solutions from this formula, one when we add the square root term and another when we subtract it. Notice how the coefficients from our standard